Hello and welcome to Saint-Jean-d'Angely in Western France for the opening round of the UEM European 250 And there's a bit of a breeze. We've already had a light rain shower this morning, and there was a good rainstorm last night as well after all of the qualifying races and main races on Saturday. Well, Saint-Jean-d'Angely is where we are. No stranger to hosting Grand Prix over the years, and the local area quite picturesque. But for this first round of the UEM, European 250 Motocross World Championship, well, it got underway in quite spectacular fashion yesterday, and already we're looking at seeing one or two riders who we should expect to see during the course of the season. And one of those, Mel Pocock on the Monster Energy Yamaha, who was victorious in Moto #1 yesterday, but it was pushed all the way by the Frenchman on the Fluid Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki, Maxime Prix. Those two separated by just half a second when the checkered flag fell at the end of 30 minutes of racing. Well, the circuit here, 1,500 meters long, about a mile in UK measurement. As usual, we have the three split points. And the circuit here in absolutely fantastic condition. Even yesterday, we were expecting a bit of rain during yesterday, but it didn't come as expected during the day. In fact, it came in the evening, so the amount of water that went on the circuit was just about perfect. We're going down to speak to Amy, though. She's our birthday girl.
Things
She's
have cooled
on the
off
grid.
down here on the start of the second race of the MX 250s. We're going to grab a quick word with James Dunn. James, yesterday seemed like a tough race for you. Was it a bad start?
Yeah, I didn't get the best of starts, and then everyone's so quick, so it's hard to really come through. But I passed a few guys and got up to 18th, so I was pretty happy with that.
Well done. Well, we hope to see you up there for the second race. We're going to move down the start line now and grab a quick word with Tim Geiger. We're used to seeing Tim dominating the 125s. How is the 250 compared?
Yes, I feel better. I'm more confident now. In second heat, in first heat, I have some problems. In the middle, I crashed one time, but I finished in 5th position. That is good for championship. So we will see now what happened in second heat. I hope that I will drive well and also start very well. So we will see.
Thank you, Tim. And we're going to go quickly down now and grab a word with yesterday's first race winner, Mel Pocock. Mel, yesterday we saw you dominating race 1. How are you feeling today?
Yeah, no, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm happy with the track and happy with my bike, and I was so pumped with my first race win yesterday, and I want to grab this championship with 2 hands and really show everyone that the Yamaha and I should be out in front, so let's get the job done.
Thank you. Right, well, we are now going to go and see the second race of the MX 250s.
Yeah, good work, Amy. Mel Pocock there, the winner in Moto #1. It was a fantastic ride as well. Led every single lap, but he's been on fire actually throughout the whole of the weekend. He was quickest in his free practice and his time training. He won his qualifying heat as well from start to finish, really decimating that B group qualifying race. But he was hard pushed in the second moto. In the early stages, it was Samuele Bernardini on the number 23 machine who tried to hang in there with him for the first couple of laps, and he in turn was being pushed by Maxime Prix on the Kawasaki. And when Prix found a way through, he tried to push Mel Pocock, tried a sneaky move here or there out on the circuit, and the French crowd, of which that is a slight proportion of what was here yesterday, maybe sleeping off some late night partying up in the campsite, but Maxime Prix, as I mentioned a moment ago, was only 0.573 of a second down on the, NGS Junior Team Kawasaki, but he's parked under the Fluid Monster Energy Kawasaki rig. So Prix having a great ride. Didn't look too flustered either after the race. He looked very cool, calm and collected, and that's him there, the 151. So he was out in the first qualifying race, so he gets to go to the line first, and then it'll be Mel Pocock. He'll probably line up alongside him, pretty much like he did yesterday, but Pocock thinking better of that, going to gate number 3 there. But The number 91, Jeremy Sewa, the Swiss rider on the Suzuki, he started in 4th, eventually came home in 3rd, but he was quite a ways back in the end, 25 seconds down on the leaders. Then Stefan Olsen on the JTech Racing Yamaha from Denmark, he had a good ride, passed a few guys actually, started 7th, and he was there for pretty much half the race, and then over the next 3-4 laps found his way into 4th position, and well, he eventually finished about 7 seconds down on Jeremy Sewa in that 3rd place. Tim Geiser had a bit of a mixed race, started 5th, dropped a position for a few laps, then it was up and down there for the last few laps. He was being challenged and pushed hard by Benoit Paturel, the French rider on the number 142 Kawasaki this year. Yamaha rider last year was Paturel. And then Samuele Bernardini, who started 2nd, eventually finished in 7th place ahead of Dennis Ulrich, Brent Van Donnick on the KTM, Alessandro Batig and Mike Krass. One of the riders who had a bit of an up and down ride was the number 89, and that was Brian Bogers of the Netherlands. He had a great ride in his qualifying race on the Saturday, finishing 2nd behind Mel Pocock, but he started 13th and fell at the end of the 1st lap, dropped all the way down to 33rd. In the next couple of laps, he was up to 27th and then fell again down to 35th, and then eventually came home in 32nd. So he would have been frustrated. So number 89, Brian Bogers of the Netherlands, is going to be trying to make amends in this 2nd race. Brian Bogers, who rode the European MX250 Championship last year, only 3 rounds. He's going to be looking to put that experience from last year to good use in his 2nd moto. James Dunn, we heard from him on the grid a moment ago. That's Mike Krass, 55 on the Burst Swing Suzuki, dropping down from MX2 to the European MX2 this year. That's Mel Pocock, our winner from moto number 1. How are the nerves going to be for him? Obviously now he's realised that he can go out and win this. Well, he can win a European Championship race, we know that. Steve Dixon and the team there at Monster Energy Yamaha preparing a great bike. There's the James Dunn, the 200, the HM Plant UK KTM rider. Normally see him in the 125 category, but he deciding to ride both the 125 and the Europeans. This is how they line up: Prix, Pocock, Robin Kappel, Samuele Bernardini, Dennis Ulrich, Brian Bogus, Olsen and Arnaud Oban, then Kilian Obersan, Mike Krass, Jeremy Sewa, and the rest there. Misha Boy de Waal, the Netherlands, qualified in 13th and finished 12th in the moto yesterday, so he'll be looking to improve on that. Normally a sand rider. One of the Brit riders, Adam Sterry, he had a big crash in practice yesterday, so he won't be on the grid for this 2nd race. Wasn't on the grid for the 1st race either, so I think it's just more a little bit shaken up was Adam Sterry, but hopefully we'll see him back at the next round. But the riders are pretty much coming under starters' orders. Marcus Lee Soper there as well, the 35 on the Honda. Didn't have a good ride in the 1st race, didn't make a good start, and then he fell as well early on and didn't finish either. But our race director down there, that's Jeremy Sewa, number 91. The Swiss rider on the Suzuki. He's going to be looking for doing something in this race as well, trying to improve on that 3rd place in moto number 1. Just a couple down from him, we saw Samuele Bernardini, the number 23 as well. So as you'd expect, all the big hitters in this European Championship race down the inside on the right-hand side, left as we look at it there. That's the 151, Prix, the 707, Robin Kappel, then Mel Pocock, the 119, then Brian Bogers there, the 89 in that grid position, number 4. 5-second board goes up. The crowd are up on their feet. They want to win from the 151 Kawasaki ride. Oh, great start there from one of the KTM guys. Timed it absolutely to perfection. But up the hill they go. Mel Pocock there in 3rd position, trying to go around the outside of Prix. So the guys who finished 1st and 2nd, Prix there on the right-hand side on the 151 Kawasaki, looking to make an impression here early on in this 2nd moto. Mel Pocock going to try and run it down the inside of him in that 2nd corner at the bottom of the hill, or 3rd turn. But it was, as they come over the line, our early leader, Dennis Ulrich, the 149. Maxime Prix there In second on that 151, Kawasaki, the NGS Junior Kawasaki, the Mel Pocock Monster Energy Yamaha, 119 there in third. They're the first three riders. Then the fourth rider is Jeremy Sewa, number 91 on the yellow Suzuki. Then we've got Stefan Olsen, Benoit Pacharel, Jordan Lucan, Alex Batig, Mike Krass in ninth, Samuele Bernardini down in 10th, head of Tim Geiser, Robin Capel. As Pocock looks to maybe go down the inside, but he's not going to get through there at the bottom of the hill. Cloudy starts in the morning, but the sun trying to break through on this spectacular hillside circuit that's twice held the FIM Motocross of Nations. Last year, of course, 2011, won by the Americans, and also in 2000. Same result, same venue. It's Jeremy Sewa in fourth place. Stefan Olsen just behind him, 136. Through the off-camber, coming out towards the final turn that would complete a lap here in terms of the overall distance of the lap. Mel Pocock trying to make a move down the inside. Maxime Dupre taking a wider sweep through that first turn. He went to the inside here at the end of the first, on the first lap, as Dennis Ulrich maintains his outside momentum line. But look at the drive from Dupre down the hill. Is he going to run it up the inside here, coming up into turn 4? Gives the German a bit of a nudge and goes through. So we have a change of lead as Maxime Dupre goes through now. Sets the fastest lap of the race as well. Mel Pocock's gone through into second, so it's a showdown here now between the two fastest guys on the track yesterday in the main race in Moto number 1. Oh, Mel Pocock trying hard to hang on to the rear wheel of the Kawasaki ahead of him. Over the Monster Energy tabletop, a lot smaller this year. That jump at the top of the hill, the big step down there, that's where Sterry crashed yesterday. The ground had apparently just been graded, and he slightly overjumped. The ground was a bit soft, grabbed the front wheel and threw him over the handlebars into the wave section. This is where Dupre was a little bit quicker than Mel Pocock yesterday. He was able to mono through there with a little bit more success on the rear wheel before double towards the end, but Mel Pocock not letting him get too far away as the rest of the field chased through. Jeremy Sewa still there in fourth, Stefan Olsen still in in fifth place, Benoit Pacharel, Alex Batig, Jordan Lecan, Mike Krass still 9th, Samuele Bernardini is still 10th, Geiser 11th, Adrian Escoffier is 12th as Pocock struggles with a tear off there. Robin Capel 13th, Mika Boydoual, Arnold Aubin is in 15th place. Lewis Toombs down in 16th place, the young Brit. Then we got Lachi Valentin in 17th. Vasyliov Bryakov is 18th. Kilian Oberson 19th, and Lars Reuter is there in 20th position as we come round to complete our second full lap here. Brian Boger's just outside of the point, so even though he got a good gate pick by virtue of his qualifying position, Brian Boger's still down in 22nd position at the moment. Here's a replay of the start, but look at the jump that Dennis Ulrich got there from about gate 6 or 7. Absolutely shot out of the gate. And then came across the 151 of Maxime Dupre. Mel Pocock held a nice tight line as well. That's him on the right-hand side now alongside Dupre, going up the hill in 3rd position. Tried to run it around the outside. Yellow flags, that was the first lap. Didn't quite see who that was, but is that one of the Valenti Suzuki riders? Back with our leaders at the head of the field. Through the Monster Energy waves, through the chicane, Mel Pocock opting to jump to the outside. Maybe he's already been up and had a look at that this morning or overnight looking at his options, but obviously if it stays like this, that determines the overall round in the championship. First round here, remember, Saint-Jean-d'Angely for these European 250 guys, and Dupre going from one side of the track to the other, trying to outfox Mel Pocock. Pocock a little close there to the rear wheel of the Kawasaki rider. He's going to run it around the outside here, Pocock. Try to get that extra momentum to shoot down the inside. Oh, back end just getting a little bit out of shape for the rider in 2nd position, the 119 Mel Pocock. Third is still Dennis Ulrich. The 149 on the KTM, finished 11th last year in the European 250 Championship, did Ulrich. As we look at Prix, he finished 7th last year. Now riding the Kawasaki there and doing a good job leading this second moto. One or two lines starting to appear. The track had a bit of an overhaul last night because we did expect some big rain, but talking to the riders this morning, circuit in absolutely perfect condition. And they've got a good sprinkling system here at Saint-Jean that will allow the conditions of the circuit to be perfect pretty much throughout the day. And I was stood in that corner actually this morning in the warm-up for MX2, and the traction and the drive that the guys are getting out of there. The difference in approach there for the wave section, Mel Pocock and Prix taking it a little bit tighter, getting that drive down earlier. That's here we're going through. That's Olsen. Then the rider at the bottom of the screen, Patrell. As once again, Mel Pocock there in second position, 119 on the Monster Energy Yamaha, challenging Prix. Will he run it down the inside here, going into turn one? Doesn't look like it from that angle. And this is how it was yesterday between these two guys, only Mel Pocock was the leader and Prix was the follower. So Maxime Prix getting a slight taste of his own medicine from yesterday. And these two guys actually not pulling away in the same way that they did yesterday. 25 seconds they won by from Jeremy Sewa, who's now in fourth place. Dennis Ulrich, the 149, is still there in third. He set the fastest lap of the race that time with a 143.5, so about 3/10 quicker than the guys ahead of him. And he's there, ready to pounce should anything go wrong between these two guys. Ulrich finished 8th in the first moto yesterday. So improvement on that first race score. Good drive and good distance over the tabletop there for Mel Pocock. The only option really to jump to the middle of the circuit, line himself up perfectly for that inside line at the bottom of the hill. You know that Maxime Prix is going to go defensive as and where he can. But look at the approach here. Oh, he gets it a little bit better this time, does Pocock. Needs to mono those first 3 or 4 and then double towards the end. That's Benoit going through, Patrell. That's Bernardini. And Tim Geiser in the red and yellow. So Geiser still there, just inside the top 10 now, down in 9th place. And Robin Capel down behind him in 10th. Jordan Lecan is 11. Mike Crass now dropping to 12th. As Pocock does get the drive, and he runs Maxime Prix wide, and he has another look up the inside as the Kawasaki rider. And Pocock has to go tight here, but he leaves enough room and he gets pushed over the berm side by side. Bar banging stuff here between the two youngsters here. Prix tries to dive down the inside, but Pocock manages just to put a wheel ahead at a crucial moment into that bottom right-hander. Oh, almost off the side of the bike there for Maxime Prix. So once again then, and for the first time in this race, Mel Pocock is our race leader. And in the perfect position to take a 1-1, the perfect score. Can he pull away, though, from Maxime Prix? We've seen how these two are prepared to be a little bit aggressive towards each other. Clean, I have to say, though, was the riding then on that lap. Mel Pocock realized he had to go hard and long and deep at the end of the start straight into turn one. He had no option but to run Maxime Prix wide, who immediately tried to fight back at the top of the hill through turn 2 and then found a way through as Pocock was caught a little bit unawares, actually. Didn't know whether to go wide or tight and looked like he was heading wide at the top of the hill. Then last minute pulled it back to the inside. Prix was already there and shoved Pocock over the berm, but fortunately for him, Mel Pocock, who was able to retaliate and take back that position. So some great action out on track in this second European EMX 250 race here at Saint-Jean d'Angely. But look at that, Dennis Ulrich, the 149 on the KTM. He's not done yet, and he's all over the back of the Kawasaki rider. He was the fastest man on track 2 laps ago. And we've got Jeremy Seewer, the Swiss guy there, number 91 on the Suzuki. He's closing in as well. So we've got a four-way fight here. This is a slightly different scenario to what we had yesterday, certainly for our two leaders. Moto number 1 on Saturday. Pocock and Prix had the track to themselves pretty much. But they're being joined here by two more. So with 15 minutes plus 2 to go, that is going to feel like an eternity, certainly for Mel Pocock, but led the championship, the British Championship, up until last weekend at Milton Park when things didn't go his way. The leadership then was taken over by Elliot Banks-Brown, the HM Plant KTM rider. We've got yellow flags waving. Is that somebody down at the bottom of the hill? Quite possibly. Oh, no, just at the top of the hill. So not sure how a rider could have gone down there. Maybe Highside himself coming out of the turn, but the riders, top 4, pretty much equidistant. The gap between them. Stefan Olsson now just losing the toe in 5th position. He'll be the next man through around about now. There we go. He's in 5th place. And that guy there in 6th, Benoit Paturel, and Samuele Bernardini now in 7th place. Right in the number 23. Ah, Prix goes down in the right-hander at the end of the wave section. And that allows Ulrich and Seewer to go through. So we've got a change to the 2nd and 3rd place. And we saw Prix just losing that front end. 555 comes in. Simon Malek. Looks to have a problem with that grip. Poor maintenance, I'd say. Watch this, front end just over the edge of the rut, does it? Oh, he just got his leg caught. And Dennis Ulrich quite well to react there, because the rider down on the deck then would have been just slightly unsighted. And Jeremy Seewer going through as well. So where is Maxime Prix now then? Well, certainly one thing's for sure, that's opened up a little bit of a gap for Mel Pocock. Dennis Ulrich now there on the orange KTM is 2nd. The yellow Suzuki now at the bottom of the screen. Jeremy Seewer of Switzerland is in 3rd. Then we've got Stefan Olsson in 4th. This is a battle for 5th place between Benoit Paturel, that rider there, and the guy in the blue on the KTM just behind him. And that's Samuele Bernardini, who's looking to run it up the inside. So Samuele Bernardini, the yellow flag still waving there from the rider on the previous lap. Battle for 5th, bottom of the hill, Bernardini and Benoit Paturel, French guy, leads the way through the Monster Energy wave section. But Bernardini looks to have the drive. Does he have the position at the end of the straight? Either way, they're leaving the 243, Tim Geiser of the Silver Action KTM, just behind. 2.5 seconds, the gap at the head of the field between Pocock and Ulrich last time around. And that gap looks to have maybe got a little bit bigger. 151. Ah, Prix down in 18th place. So a very, very expensive mistake in terms of the championship and points lost. We know he's got the speed. Still too early to say who can win this European Championship. Such is the pace of the youngsters. It's going to be a pretty long season as well, but next round, next weekend in Portugal, Agata. Oh, Benoit Paturel runs it too deep, and that allows Bernardini to get good drive, who's all over the side of the track and runs off the track. A little bit over exuberant there was the 23, Samuele Bernardini, and it's going from bad to worse. He knows he can't go from there. Oh, and he's on the advertising hoardings, couldn't get the grip, and he's gone down. Trying to rescue the rear wheel from the green fencing. And that's going to be a difficult place to start from. Oh, it actually keeps the engine running. Oh, it's an electric start on the KTM. Got no choice but to run it through there. Unfortunately for him, that green fencing in the rear wheel on the rear disc side. So he's going to struggle for a rear brake, and he remounts. Just watch this. Bounces off there. Front end comes up. He's almost off the side of the bike. Couldn't hit the brakes because his foot was off the pedal. Runs straight into the side of the banners. And look at that. Just like walking on ice. So now then, Pocock leads Dennis Ulrich is second. Jeremy Seward is third. Stefan Olsen is fourth. Benoit Paturel fifth. Tim Geiser now gets promoted to sixth place. Robin Capel is seventh. That's Stefan Olsen there. The 136 on the JTech Racing Yamaha. Got a good team, actually, JTech. Looks pretty impressive. So Dennis Ulrich then, 8th in Moto #1 yesterday. Currently riding around in third now. Second place, sorry, that's Mel Pocock. That gap was 2.5 seconds a couple of laps ago, so now 2.1. So for the next 8.5 minutes, Mel Pocock needs to maintain his focus. But Dennis Ulrich not going to let him have it all his own way. Finished 11th last year. Did Ulrich? Yeah, Bernardini coming in. He knows. An opportunity lost there. Dennis Ulrich, best position last year, second in the first moto final round in at Geldorf. Pay attention, boys, pit lane exit. But Mel Pocock currently leads, as he has done since about lap 3, maybe lap 4 of this race. Whole bunch of riders, though, fighting a little bit lower down the leaderboard. As we pick up Luca Moroni, number 84. Oh, look at that, Bernardini still not happy as he drops down the hill. So Luca Moroni, one of the riders that actually we expected to perform this year. Finished 8th in the 125 European Championship last year, did Luca Moroni. Had a difficult time of it in the first moto yesterday. Outside the top 30 on the first lap, got up to 28 before falling again, eventually coming home in 33rd. So 2 steps forward, 1 step back for the Italian. Coming out of the final corner, though, dropping down the hill, Mel Pocock about to, well, he does now, completes his 10th lap. In 3.6 seconds, that gap, almost 4 seconds between him and Dennis Ulrich. It's our third place rider on the Suzuki MX Team 91, Jeremy Sewer of Switzerland. Stefan Olsen still behind, about 7 seconds down on this kid, though. Finished second in the World Championship, Junior 125 Championship a couple of years ago, did Jeremy Sewer. Actually finished third in the 125 European Championship last year. Got on the podium a few times, 3 or 4 times during the season. But was no match really for Simone Zecchina, Tim Geiser and Samuele Bernardini. Right, where's James Dunn? James Dunn didn't make a good start in this second moto, just like yesterday, hovering in 22nd at the moment. Just behind the 918 as the 250 comes in, Richard Fuhrer. But James Dunn just behind Camille Chapelier, NGS Junior Kawasaki rider, teammate to Maxime Dupre. Maxime Dupre now back up to 15th, incidentally, just behind Brent Van Donnick and the number 27, Adrien Escoffier. Oh, who's gone down big in the wave section at the top of the hill? Is that 2:02, I think that was? Oh, 7:07, Robin Capel. So Capel crashes spectacularly out of 7th position and remounts just ahead of number 12, the Russian rider, Sevlo Brylyakov. Watch this. Just gets it wrong, takes off wrong, bounces his way in, catches the bank in, then goes crashing. Oh, horrible snag there. Ugh. Wouldn't be surprised if it was winded, but that was a violent thrust onto the handlebar for Robin Capel. The French rider, Silver Action KTM. So coming up the hill here then, Mike Krass, that looks like, 55. He's now in 9th place, or he was. He'll get promoted because Capel obviously going out. Krass now goes 7th on the Bursfun Suzuki, just pushing back Jordan Lequin. And then Arnaud Oban, 951, is in 9th. Mika Boydewal just behind them in 10th. So a whole bunch of guys here. The lead rider in the group, who's that at the bottom of the hill? Obviously saying that he's okay. challenge there. I think that was Arnold Aubin on Jordan Lequin. Yeah, because the guy there on the Suzuki in the background, Misha Boydewal in 10th. And Lequin does go around the outside. So puts on a good pass there. Sorry, that was Arnold Aubin going around the outside of Lequin. So we've got Mike Crass, 55. Then Arnold Aubin, he's in 8th place. The guy in the blue, just behind them, the 222. Jordan Lequin, NGS Junior Kawasaki rider. Stretching that throttle cable on the right-hand side. That's him there, 222, Lequin. So 3.5 minutes to go. Mel Pocock, gap coming back down again. 2.8 seconds between him and Dennis Ulrich. Jeremy Sewer is still 3rd. Still wait for Stefan Olsson to come over the line. On the JTEC Yamaha. Does so now, 8 seconds down on Jeremy Sewer. There's our race leader, Mel Pocock, 119, Monster Energy Yamaha. Riding for Steve Dixon. That team winning multiple British championships. Motocross Nations, of course, back in '94, and here they are looking to pick up their first European Championship win with Mel Pocock. Dennis Ulrich there in 2nd on the Sarles KTM, 149, top of the hill now. Another rider down at the end of the wave section. Yellow flag's been a little bit busy over there. Doing a good work though, guys. The organisation here at Saint-Jean, absolutely immaculate, as always. No stranger to running Grand Prix. And Motocross of Nations, of course, the biggest event on the international stage. But 2.8 was the gap between Dennis Ulrich and Mel Pocock last time around. Is it looking to come down slightly? Jeremy Sewer not out of it yet either, in 3rd place. So only 6.5 seconds separate our leading trio. Maybe down to about 2.5, something like that. That gap now between Mel Pocock here and Dennis Ulrich. Pocock over the line now, the 13 laps complete. Oh, loses the front end though in the next right-hander. Those long legs doing well to keep him upright. 2.7, so marginally different. So Stefan Olsson still in 4th, Benoit Patrel 5th, Tim Geiser, Mike Crass, Arnold Aubin and Jordan Lequin. Misha Boydewal down in 10th. Sevelo Brilyakov is 11th, Brent Van Donnick 12th. Robin Capel dropped to 13th, so picked himself up after that crash. Adrien Escoffier 14th, Maxime Dupre 15th, Lewis Toombs 16th. About 3 laps to go, possibly. Maybe might be lucky enough to get the 2-lap board this time around, Mel Pocock. Riding with a lot of confidence this year. Didn't ride any Grand Prix last year, any Euro rounds. Opted just to concentrate on the domestic team. Of course, he was riding for a Suzuki team last year for Philip Neal, who's away on the Isle of Man TT this weekend, and Adam Lyons. But the caption says it all at the moment. Virtual round winner, victorious in Moto number 1 yesterday, Mel Pocock, currently leading the way here in Moto 2. That's his 2nd place rider just going through, Dennis Ulrich. 3rd, just coming over the hill, Jeremy Sewer of Switzerland. He'll be pleased with that, on the podium in the 2nd Moto. I was about to say, actually, that'll get him on the podium overall. Stefan Olsson looking at being the 3rd overall finisher, though, just edging out Dennis Ulrich. But Maxime Dupre, he'll be disappointed. Still hovering down there. Now in 14th place, having just found a way past Lewis Toombs. 2 laps to go then. 3.8's the gap between our leader, Pocock, and Dennis Ulrich. Jeremy Sewer looks to have settled for 3rd position, 7 seconds down on our 2nd place rider. And we've got Stefan Olsson, that's him there on the JTEC Yamaha. 1:36. He's in 4th place. 3rd overall at the moment for this guy. And just behind Stefan Olsen, although, what, 5-6 seconds back, Benoit Paturel, Tim Geiser, Arnold Oban 7th, Mike Crass 8th, Jordan Lecan 9th, Nisha Boyd-Dewal is 10th, Brent Van Donnet comes over the line now in 11th, ahead of Maxime Dupre, who's now gone 12th. He's just found a way past Robin Capel in 13th position. Adrien Escoffier is 14th. Went for Lewis Toombs to come through. Goes through now in 15th position. So that's going to be good points. Didn't score in the European MX2 Championship last year, Lewis Toombs, but did pick up a couple of points at the British Grand Prix at Matterley Basin last year. So getting off to a good start is Lewis Toombs. Didn't score in the first race yesterday, finished in 25th, but making up for that now in this second race. Servulo Brilyakov is 16th, and it's James Dunn now who's found his way into the points in 17th. So a late charge then for the HM Plant KTM UK rider. James Dunn now finds himself up into 17th place. That'll be 4 points for him. Then Pontus Jonsson is 18th. Eric Higiec is 19th, and Davide De Bartoli, the final championship point scorer, down in 20th position. Final lap though for Mel Pocock. This will seal the perfect weekend for him. Fastest in his free practice yesterday, fastest in the qualifying, his qualifying race, fastest in the warm-up this morning. Won the first race as well yesterday. And looking at picking up the second moto victory here. Dennis Ulrich, though, has backed off. That flash of yellow Suzuki, was that a slow back marker, or was that Jeremy Stewart looking at maybe do something in the closing stages here and steal that second position? I'm guessing it was a back marker, but 7:47, excuse me, goes through Michele Chervelin, Martin Honda Racing. Mel Pocock, though, out of the final turn, down by pit lane, quick fist pump to the team. Steve Dixon will be down there. He's on our MX Live TV show just after, about 30 minutes after the finish of MX1 Moto #1 on MX Live TV, Steve Dixon, so it'll be interesting to hear his comments on the performance of Mel Pocock this weekend. Of course, Arnold Tonus is back for the first time for his first GP after missing the first 5 rounds. And but Mel Pocock, though, double-double into the final turn before dropping down to the Monster Energy finish line. The checkered flag awaits, and it's a perfect start for Mel Pocock. He wins the second moto here. He wraps up the overall win, and he's going to be more than pleased with that. Mum and Dad are here as well, and Pocock Jr., his younger brother, riding around actually with a plaster on the wrist, but Mel Pocock wins here by 5 seconds in the second race. Dennis Ulrich second. Jeremy Stewart comes over the line in third, and we wait for Stefan Olsen to come through in 4th place. He goes through now, and our overall podium is going to be Pocock, Stewart, and Stefan Olsen. And I think Amy's waiting to maybe speak to Mel Pocock as he gets closer to the podium area. Of course, if so, she'll just jump right in. And hopefully Mel will just give us a couple of words. But Pocock wins it then. Ulrich second, Stewart third. Wow, check that out. Tim Geiser put in a bit of a spurt as well. Got up to 4th place. We've lost Stefan Olsen. Olsen will be off the podium, according to our timing screen. But he's come through as being shown. So maybe we've got a glitch there. Not quite sure. We'll give you the rundown as soon as we have it. Mel Senior congratulates Mel Junior. Mum there in the background, just walking off to the left as we look at it. Great day for Mel Pocock. Steve, come here, he's saying there. Steve Dixon, team manager, team owner. Mum on the left as well, and great day for the Monster Energy Yamaha crew picking up their first European Championship victory. Steve Dixon used to winning the odd thing here and there, but Mel Pocock, who held a red plate leading the British Championship for a couple of rounds, will now pick up a red plate for leading the European Championship in the 250 category. So the results are correct on screen then. Geiser 4th, Paturel 5th, Oban 6th, Kras was 7th, 8th was Dual, Jordan Lecan was 9th, and Brent Van Donink was 10th, with Prix 11th, Capel 12th, Escoffier 13th, Toombs was 14th. So I'm assuming there was maybe a problem with the transponder there, because certainly Olsen was in the work area, or in the podium area. So we'll give you that in a moment, but might just be a technical glitch there for in terms of the transponder for Stefan Olsen. That'd be a shame if that is the right result, but give you that result in just a moment. Of course, that might then affect the overall and the points and everything else. So it's important that that result is correct for obvious reasons, because Dennis Ulrich would take 3rd if that was the case. But if it was a technical glitch and they've recorded him coming over the line, Stefan Olsen, then he will be 3rd overall. So a great weekend then for the European MX2 riders. Mel Pocock and Monster Energy Yamaha in particular. Jeremy Sewer on the podium, and as yet we're just unsure as to whether it was a podium place overall for Stefan Olsen or Dennis Ulrich. Well, before we see the interviews or hear from our riders down by the podium area, we're getting ready to wind up. Quick replay of what happened in Moto number 1, or in Moto number 2, sorry. Here's how it went. Race 2, great start for Dennis Ulrich as he fired out of the gate, about 7 or 8 gates down. Closed over the front of the 151 Kawasaki of Maxime Dupre and Mel Pocock, and those two were going at it until Pocock found a way through into the lead after around about 4 laps. Maxime Dupre initially retaliated, and then he made this mistake here, just lost his footing. That handed 2nd place to Ulrich, 3rd place for Jeremy Sewer on the Suzuki. And Jeremy Sewer, well, just did everything right. He stayed there in 3rd position. Mel Pocock, though, was our race leader. And even though Dennis Ulrich was there lurking in the background for a few laps, he would never really challenge the leadership of Mel Pocock here at 119 on the Monster Energy Yamaha. Jeremy Sewer was comfortable in 3rd, eventually was happy to settle there about 7 seconds down on the 2nd place of Dennis Ulrich. Stefan Olsen, though, he was having a good ride in 5th place, and that was going to be good enough to get him on the podium in 3rd. But we think at the moment a transponder glitch possibly on the final lap, because he definitely came through, came over the line in that 5th position, 4th position maybe. So the JTEC Yamaha rider will be pleased with the result. And Stefan Olsen just coming back on our timing screen as the correct order there. So Mel Pocock, he ran to the final turn. Unchallenged, he took the checkered flag, and it was Ulrich 2nd, Sewer 3rd, Stefan Olsen was 4th, Geiser was 5th, Paturel was 6th, Arnold Oban was 7th, Mike Kras 8th, Misha Boydewar 9th, and Jordan Lecan was 10th, ahead of Brett Van Donink, Maxime Dupre, Robin Kappel, Adrian Escoffier, Lewis Toombs, Sevelo Brolyakov. James Dunn was 17th in the end, Pontus Jonsson was 18th, Eric Hugiec was 19th, and Davide de Bartoli was 20th position. The final point scorer ahead of Brian Bogers, Lars Reuter, Ludovic Brevis and Kim Java, and Michele Chervelin was 25th. Looking a little bit further down, Samuele Bernardini 31st after sitting high up on the leaderboard for much of the time until he made that mistake. So he won't be too impressed with that. Actually come in and try and grab that green fencing out of the rear wheel, and of course had to make another stop as well, realizing the back brake wasn't working. So we wait to hear from our overall winners, and wait to see the podium, of course, as well. But all quiet here at the moment at Saint-Jean-d'Angely. A little bit cloudier, cooler than yesterday. Perfect for racing, though. The track is going to be in great condition all day long, you suspect. But third overall, then, Stefan Olsson on the JTEC Yamaha takes his first ever podium in European MX2. Jeremy Sewer is going to be second overall on the Suzuki. And our overall winner should be Mel Pocock. Hopefully the graphic will be correct this time, but Mel Pocock, our round winner here this weekend, the opening round of the European MX2 250 Championship. Steve Dixon, team manager, team owner of the Monster Energy Yamaha team. He's going to be more than pleased with that, so facial expression doesn't say it, though. Non-flussed, I think is what we would say. So Maurice Pitot hands a third place trophy to Stefan Olsson. And Stefan Olsson, JTEC Yamaha rider. Quick pose for the photographers, second overall. Jeremy Sewer gets his trophy. And well deserved, hard earned, Mel Pocock. Winner this weekend. Biggest smile in the paddock so far, Mel Pocock, a double moto winner here, first round of the European Championship MX2. Steve Dixon will pick up the Manufacturers Award on behalf of Yamaha. I'll go nicely down to the team workshops down in Hampshire. Eddie Hurd, though, the UEM delegate from Great Britain, will hand the red plate to Mel Pocock. 2 wins out of 2. He is the championship leader in the UEM European 250 Motocross Championship. Of course, the winner this weekend from Great Britain on Jubilee weekend. 60 years of reign for Queen Elizabeth II back home. All kinds of parties going on at home. There'll be one here as well in France a little later on in that Monster Energy camp. Here's the national anthem of Great Britain for Mel Pocock. Take 2. And Yamaha were winning manufacturers this weekend. Next up will be the national anthem of Japan. No national anthem? So straight into it then, boys. Mel Pocock, though, your overall winner this weekend. Jeremy Sewer second, the number 91 Suzuki rider. Stefan Olsson, the JTEC Yamaha rider, third. Oh, here we go. So Mel Pocock and Yamaha then winning here the European round. The first round of the championship 2012. And doing it in fine style as well. 2 wins out of 2 and 50 points on the board. And get the classification for the, well, I'm not sure if it's going to be the race result here or the overall round. Pop up on the screen soon enough. Moto number 2, Mel Pocock from Dennis Ulrich, Jeremy Sewer, Stefan Olsen, Tim Geiser, Benoit Paturel, Arnaud Aubin and Mike Crass in 8th. 9th was Misha Boydoir and Jordan Lecan was 10th. Brent Van Donnick, Maxime Dupre, he'll be disappointed with that. Robin Kappel likewise. Adrien Escoffier, Lewis Toombs, good points on the board for him. Servulo Brylyakov of Russia in 16th. And James Dunn. Then it was Johnson, Eric Hugiec and Davide Dubartoli down in 20th. Just edging out Brian Bogers. He'll be disappointed after his qualifying race yesterday. Getting ready to go down and speak to Mel Pocock. He's waiting down by the podium. Let's hear what he has to say. I'm sure, though, he's going to be the happiest guy in the paddock. Been a great weekend for him. And as I said a moment ago, the perfect weekend, winning every session from practice to the motos, the warm-ups. Here he is. Here's Mel Pocock. Let's hear what he has to say.
Mel, congratulations. A great start to your 250 championship. You must be so happy.
I'm so pumped. I'm so pumped. I've won everything this weekend and had a mistake-free weekend, and yeah, I'm so pumped I've won, and I don't even know what to say. I'm so happy to be up on top of the top step of the podium. Got the red plate, nice little 10-point lead already. Huge thanks to my team, my mechanic Nico, Ben, Steve. They've made me such a good bike, and it's definitely good enough to win this championship. So I'm set out to keep this red plate all year and looking forward to it.
There we are. We have it. Mel Pocock ready to take that red plate into the second race.
So a great weekend then for Mel Pocock. As I said there, a 10-point lead already going into the second round. Doesn't get any better than that. Wasn't easy though. Him and Dupre going at it bar to bar in a second moto for a couple of laps like they did yesterday actually, but in the end, a mistake from Dupre at a crucial moment in the race allowed Pocock just a little bit of breathing room. He'll take it any way he can get it. And in the end, he was able just to go on and not cruise because Dennis Ulrich pushed him all the way in that second. And Jeremy Stewart was 3rd in the race. Overall round then looks like this. Mel Pocock 10 points clear of Jeremy Stewart and Stefan Olsen 3rd. Dennis Ulrich, Geiser and Dupre more crucially down in 6th. As we look at the rest. Trying to pick up 1 or 2 guys down there that shouldn't be down there. One of them maybe notably that guy in 18th, James Dunn. Lewis Toombs 19th overall. And then Brevers down in 20th place. Well, the sun starts to come out here at Saint-Jean-d'Angely as we prepare as well in about an hour's time for the first MX2 race today. Classification of the championship, same as the overall round this weekend. Mel Pocock, Jeremy Stewart, Stefan Olsen and Dennis Ulrich, etc, etc, etc. Well, the classification in the Manufacturers' Championship should belong to Yamaha. 50 points on the board for them. So win-win all round for Yamaha this weekend. They have a 10-point advantage over Suzuki, of course, as per the podium. KTM, Kawasaki and Honda. Just 6 points on the board from them this weekend. Right, well, obviously we're here in France, but in 2 weeks' time we go to the Belgian Grand Prix at Bastogne. A new track on the calendar, And if you fancy a trip close to the Luxembourg border, then of course we will see you there. We've got Portugal next week, of course, at Agata, but the Grand Prix of Belgium at a new venue, because we have the Monster Energy Motocross and Nations at Lommel at the end of September. Well, we were going to have a promo of the Belgian Grand Prix. That's why it was mentioned. But that's it. We'll see you in about an hour's time for FIM MX2 Race 1. My name is Paul Manning. Thanks for watching the European 250 race here at Saint-Jean d'Angely. We'll see you in about an hour's time. Bye for now.